Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Good Monday morning again. Start to another awesome week here. Hope you all had a great weekend, whatever you got yourself into. We're rolling along here, Motocross for Christ, doing our August Bible Challenge, 31 chapters of Proverbs, 31 days in a month, and we're already on chapters, I can't get it straight. Chapter 22. We're already up to chapter 22, so thank you guys for following, for sharing. I know some of you have been really vigilant and checking back, and that's exciting, and there's a lot of you watching. I don't know who you are, but I hope everyone is gaining some knowledge here. I know I am learning, probably doing this as much for myself as for everybody else. So anyhow, we're going to roll into it. A lot of great stuff here. Try and get through it, but don't want to rush it by any means. And I've really enjoyed doing this first thing in the mornings. Gets the day started right, makes you think about getting through your day. So anyhow, I'm working with the New Living Translation here, and I'm finding this on BibleHub.com, and you can also see the verses in the comment section here alongside the video. Anyhow, New Living Translation, Proverbs 22, verse 1. Choose a good reputation over great riches. Being held in high esteem is better than silver or gold. So again, how you act. I hate using that, how you act. We're all sinners, man. But anyhow, better to have integrity, honesty, shoot straight, be real, than to have lots of dough. And money is associated with things. It doesn't have to be cash. Better to have a good reputation. Verse 2. The rich and the poor have this in common. The Lord made them both. I am no different from you, and you are no different from me or anybody else in this world. No matter what your income tax bracket is, no matter where you live, no matter anything, you and I were born naked flesh from God, image of God. We're no different from each other. The only difference is how we conduct our affairs, who we follow. Verse number 3 says, a prudent person foresees dangers and takes precaution. A simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. Now, ain't that the truth? At least in my case, and I still, I blame it on this. I think I have this crazy gene I was born with, risk taker. Yeah. There's so many times, even today yet, it's like, no, don't do that. And you do that. Turning the mirror around. Jim, don't do that. And I do that. Verse 3 says, a prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. You all know what we're talking about, okay? True humility and fear of the Lord leads to riches, honor, and long life. We've been talking about fear of the Lord, having wisdom. Corrupt people walk a thorny, treacherous road. Whoever values life will avoid it. Direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. I wanted to hit on this so many times. Like, one of my kids, they're like 21 and 25 soon next week. I don't even know, 22, I think. Sorry, guys. They just say something out of the blue, and my wife and I look at each other. It's like, wow, they were listening. Direct your children onto the right path. They're listening. They're watching. They don't always appear to be, but they are. Just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is servant to the lender. Want a lump of sum? Do it, man. Don't overexceed your lifestyle. Those who plan injustice will harvest disaster, and the reign of terror will come to an end. Blessed are those who are generous because they feed the poor. Giving, rock star status, remember. Throw out the mocker, and fighting goes too. Quarrels and insults will disappear. Whoever loves a pure heart and gracious speech will have the king as a friend. The Lord preserves those with knowledge, but he ruins the plans of the treacherous. I like this one. I have a note here on verse number 13. The lazy person claims, there's a lion out there. If I go out there, I'm going to be killed. The verse says the lazy person claims there's a lion out there. If I go outside, I might be killed. Excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. Take your gun with you. Take a stick. You don't like guns. Okay? Beat the lion. Okay? Be overcomers. Trust in the Lord. Learn. You can whip anything. Trust me. You got it inside of you. Okay? Lord won't give you anything you can't overcome. The lazy, there we go, 13. The mouth of a immoral woman is a dangerous trap. Those who make the Lord angry will fall into it. A youngster's heart, verse 15, a youngster's heart is filled with foolishness, but physical discipline will drive it far away. I look at another, because I know some of y'all are against that, the physical part. And I don't know if physical meant beating or hitting. They talk about thrashing a lot and stuff in the Bible. Things were done differently then. In the New International Verse, the NIV, New International Version, folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far from him. And in the footnotes, if we remember, we go back earlier chapters, the rod of discipline means just any kind of discipline for your child. And that breeds love and respect. Need more of that. A person who gets ahead by oppressing the poor, by showering gifts on the rich, will end in poverty. So again, reinforcement of all the wisdom here we're learning. Then there's a break, and I look at 3 different versions here, and there's a break here in this chapter, and it's a header that says sayings of the wise. Sayings of the wise, and I researched that. I guess over the next couple of chapters, they're going to give us 30 sayings, and they would be different in today's times probably, that help remind us, bam, bam, bam. But anyhow, I'll jump into it here. Listen to the words of the wise. Apply your heart to my instruction. For it is good to keep these sayings in your heart and always ready on your lips. I am teaching you today, yes, you, me, everybody, so you will trust in the Lord. I'm teaching you today, yes, you, so you will trust in the Lord. I have written 30 sayings for you filled with advice and knowledge. In this way you may know the truth and take an accurate report to those who sent you. And I think we're starting here with the sayings, and they're going to be spread out between now, we're on chapter 22 today, through the end of chapter 24. So they'll come and go, from my understanding of it. I haven't read ahead yet. I've read it in years past, but it's been a while. Don't rob the poor just because you can, or exploit the needy in court. So don't take advantage of people. For the Lord is their defender. He will ruin anyone who ruins them. Okay, I'm sorry. Got to read the 2 verses together. There's a saying and there's a reason why. Verse 22. Don't rob the poor because you can, or exploit the needy in court. For the Lord is their defender. He will ruin anyone who ruins them. Comes around, goes around. Don't befriend angry people or associate with hot-tempered people, or you will learn to be like them and endanger your soul. Careful who you hang around. You'll become like them. You become like the 5 people you're around most. Trust me, it's been proven in scientific research. I have it in my life improver book, I think. It's in there. Don't agree, verse 26, don't agree to guarantee another person's debt or put up security for someone else. If you can't pay it, even your bed will be snatched from under you. You risk everything if you guarantee. I can barely guarantee what I'm going to do. I try. I give it my best most days. Not always. I'm lying. I'm a sinner. Okay? We can barely be responsible for ourselves. How in the world can we be responsible for somebody else? And don't misunderstand that. I believe that fathers need to step up and take care of their families, their children, their spouses, and moms too. It goes both ways. Kids take care of your siblings, your brothers, your sisters. Okay, but when it comes right down to it, don't guarantee another person's debt, because they'll take everything you got, man. Okay. Verse 28. Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers set up by previous generations. They use boundary markers to mark land. Your property lines were used with stones. Okay? Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers set up by previous generations. Do you see any truly competent workers? They will serve kings rather than working for ordinary people. That's the last verse in the chapter. We blew right in through there. But let me go back. Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers set up by previous generations. Do you see any truly competent workers? They will serve kings rather than working for ordinary people. And 29 kind of had to really think hard about that. If I go to the NIV, it makes it easier than the international version. Not international. It's tripping me up. NIV says, do you see a man skilled in his work? He will serve before kings. He will not serve before obscure men. So I went to the footnotes, and skilled in his work, truly competent worker. Craftsmen were considered to be wise, served before kings, like Joseph was an administrator. David, a musician, and Hiram, a worker in bronze. So I think the teaching here is do your very best and achieve or strive to be your very best. And it's okay if you're a janitor. It's okay if you're a business owner. But do your best at whatever you're doing, because you will serve before the king. God will take care of you. Okay? That's what I'm getting from it. No matter what your purpose is in life, do it with enthusiasm. Do it to the best of your ability, and you will be blessed greatly. You know, like when maybe I touched on this chapters ago, I think way back in the beginning, I got out of the motorcycle business. Brief moment of insanity for a couple years. Yeah. Anyhow, and I was working in a warehouse, a glass windshield warehouse, and I was a lead man there. I had a couple 13, 10, or 12 guys at any one point in time that were working for me there. And a lot of old dudes, a lot of guys thought that they should have been the boss because they were there longer. Didn't matter how they performed. And that was the teaching back. That was how things were 20, 50, back in the 50s, 60s. The longer you were there, seniority got you advanced. It's not how it works, man. The harder you work gets you advanced, and no matter what you're doing, whether it's your walk with God, whether it's your job, whether it's your relationship with your spouse or your children or your neighbors, your friends, okay, working hard gets you where you want to go. And I told these guys, you know, they always wanted a raise. It's like they weren't even, and they were making pretty good money for what they had to do. I told them, I said, work like you just got a $3 an hour raise, and you just might get one. And I didn't even control the raises, but that's the way I think. You know, you got to give to receive, okay? No matter what your station in life, do it with enthusiasm. Do it to the best of your ability. And if you want your station to change, it will. But you got to give first. That's from Jim Bull, but I got it right from Proverbs. So I love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.